Good evening and welcome to our League One predictions. I think we upset a few Doncaster fans on the last one, so hopefully we don't offend anybody today. So we'll start off with the first game of the week, and it's Wimbledon versus Luton Town. Now, obviously Wimbledon down in 15th, Luton 11th. I think Luton are on a bit of good form, so I've gone for a 1-0 Luton win. I heard a few people saying with Akima Doffin, they would have made the playoffs if they'd have had him all season. So I don't think Wimbledon are a very good team. I think they'll just stay up because they've got 50 points, but I don't think they'll end up with many more points this season than the 50 they've already got. So I'm going 1-0 Luton.
Yeah, it's not a great look when a fan says that if they had a fit Akima Doffin, they'd get promoted or get in the playoffs, because he was okay at Rotherham. He wasn't that good. Obviously I've got a low-scoring game. I've been quite impressed with Wimbledon's manager, and the fact they've been nowhere near relegation, I think is a good season for Wimbledon. And I just think that Luton are still in transition. I just think they'll cancel each other out and it'll be 0-0. Wimbledon don't concede a lot and don't score a lot. So I just think it's going to go that way, 0-0.
On to Barnsley versus Plymouth. So I've gone for a 2-0 Plymouth win. Plymouth are 9th, only sort of 4 points off the playoffs, I think. But they played a game less. So if they win that game in hand, they will be in the playoffs. So for me, I think Plymouth are going to sneak into the playoffs. I think they're going to get there at the very last minute. They're going to be the form team going into it. I think they'll nick into it. Barnsley, again, another team very much like Wimbledon on 50 points. Don't know how they've got 50 points because I think they're utter gash. I wouldn't swap hardly any of their players for even Rotherham players. So I'll be honest with you, I don't think Barnsley get another point from now to the end of the season. Rotherham will beat them as well. They'll finish on 50 points. That should be enough to keep them up. Maybe you need a little more than 50 points this season. If Rotherham hit a bit of form, I can see Barnsley being in a bit of trouble. So 2-0 Plymouth. Easy win for Plymouth.
Interesting regarding Plymouth. I'm just looking at the playoff running. Obviously, you've got, I'd say that not even Bolton is secure. They're only like 2 wins away from dropping out, or 2 defeats away from dropping out.
It's a poor league, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think Bolton will get in because obviously they've got a decent squad, but they're not guaranteed. And you could go down all the way to possibly Luton still. 55 points they're on with a game in hand over 6. So, Luton could still get in. I think Peterborough 5 points adrift of Luton, so I think their season's done. And obviously, just mentioned Mars there as well. It's a strange one. I've got a draw, which is quite surprising because Plymouth are on.
I think you all Barnsley a lot. You never seem to go against them, and they're absolutely an awful team. It's an awful place. The women are ugly in Barnsley, and the people are not much better. Come on, man. Have a think about what you've got.
Well, I'm just looking at my past predictions for Barnsley, and I have got them drawing and winning a lot. This is more to do with Plymouth. This game, it's not to do with Barnsley. The thing with Barnsley is obviously I see them as a similar size to Rotherham. I think they're both similar clubs. Barnsley though.
Rotherham, man.
You're sorry?
I think they're much more than Rotherham.
How can you? Right, you say that. And a Barnsley fan would say that they've been in a high division most of their lives than Rotherham, and they average more than Rotherham in terms of crowd.
The infrastructure, mate. Like going to Barnsley is like going back in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, just on this game, it's more to Plymouth. Like, the reason I'm going to draw is because Plymouth have only lost 1 game in about 10, and that was against Rotherham. And I just felt that I know they'll be used to long journeys because it's a long way to Plymouth, and every away game for Plymouth is a long journey. But I just get the impression that they're going to come to Barnsley and they're going to do similar to Barnsley what did to Rotherham. That Barnsley won't take advantage, and that's why it'll be a draw. And that's my only reason why I've gone 0-0. I think the playoff place, like, I don't know about Plymouth, but Reading for me are the team who will get the playoffs. I'm not sure about anyone else, but I think Reading will get in there. If I was to have a guess, you've got Bolton, yes, Bradford, Stockport, and Reading is what I'm going to go for.
Interesting. I don't think Bradford will stay in there. I think Plymouth will get in the playoffs as well. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I don't think Bradford will definitely get in there. I don't even think Stockport might as well. I think they might bugger up. I actually think Huddersfield might sneak in there if this new man starts producing the goods. On to the next game. Bolton versus Stockport. Bolton, for me, one of the best sides in the league. I think they're guaranteed to be in the playoffs. I've gone 2-0 Bolton. I don't rate Stockport other than when they're at home. So if they're at home, you kind of back them. But if they're away, they'll lose. That's why they won't go up. They'll definitely not win the playoffs if they do get in them. I think they might miss out with Bradford as well. I think there's better teams. I think Plymouth are better than them. I think Stevenage are better than them. I think Wycombe are better than them. I think Huddersfield are better than them. I think Luton are better than them. So all of them teams, I think, can finish above them. So I'm going to 2-0 Bolton.
Yeah, and the home form comes in for me as well. I still think Bolton are a decent side at this level. And Stockport, although they are in playoffs currently, I found them a lot more inconsistent this year than last year. Like, obviously, it looks like they've got a chance to get in playoffs, and they got first last season as well. But it looks to me like they've almost took a step backwards, but without dropping out of playoffs. I think, I reckon their points tally, I'll have to check, but I reckon their points tally this season is nowhere near as it was last year. And I will have a look at that in a minute. But you're right on Bolton. They're very strong at home. Stockport aren't very good away, as you said. I just can't see anything but a Bolton win.
Next up, the Bin Dippers, Doncaster. I mean, they've got to win this game. I've just got a feeling that they're so annoying team. They're so crap. They'll lose this game, but they can't lose. Exeter are on an awful run of form. I'm going to go for 1-0, but it wouldn't surprise me if they end up drawing or losing this game just to spite Rotherham, because they're filled with hate, this club. It's a very poor town with poor people that are really bitter and twisted at the world. So I feel that they'll lose on purpose, but I'm hoping they should win this game. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Bin Dippers went and lost it, but we'll see. I'm going 1-0 to Doncaster. I don't often pick them to win because I think they're utter garbage. Like, that's why I call them the Bin Dippers, because they're garbage. Take them out with the trash.
I mean, Donny should be winning this game, really. If you look at the form table, obviously Donny have done okay last couple of months, whereas Exeter are on free fall. Now, I've got a draw because Exeter were on free fall, but they did manage to scrape a home draw against a side who were at the similar level to Donny in Leyton Orient. They're almost next to each other in league. So that's the only reason why I'm going to draw. Obviously, I actually want Donny to win as well, just so it does help us in terms of Exeter going down. And it wouldn't surprise me if Donny lost this. But, look at the form. Donny should win. So I just think they'll cancel each other out. And I've gone 1-1. And before I carry on, I did check the Stockport. Stockport last season got 87 points. And this season, they're only going to get at most probably 75, 76. So they've dropped quite significantly year on year.
I've gone next for Leyton Orient or Huddersfield. I've gone 0-0 for some reason. I don't know why I've picked that. I must have been having a a bit of a weird moment because I actually think Huddersfield will probably win this game. But I put 0-0, so I'll have to stick with it. But I think you're right. You've gone with 2-1. I think you're probably right with that. I think Huddersfield will probably pinch it. But Huddersfield are a funny team. They've got a great squad. I think they should get in the playoffs. But, I mean, I don't like the manager. And I don't know who the guy is that's running them.
Yeah.
How long is he doing it for? Has he been...
no one knows. No one knows.
Been done for trafficking or something, or what?
I don't know. I don't know. I look at one thing that does put me off a little bit with the Huddersfield win. So I've got Huddersfield win is they've not won for free. Now it's weird, but I'm going to almost contradict myself here. The reason I've got Huddersfield win is because they've not won for free, and they're the type of team where they go on like a run of not winning games, like 2-3 maybe 4, and they'll get a random win somewhere, and that keeps them. That random win will then keep them within touch distance of the playoffs, and I think they've done that all season pretty much, and therefore I think they'll get the win. Leyton Orient have not really got anything to play for. 50 points. I've just watched them play Wigan. Obviously, recording this on a Thursday night. I've watched them play Wigan, and to be fair, it was a decent game considering it finished 0-0, end to end. And at the end, Leyton Orient were unlucky not to win it in the end. Just for Huddersfield, like you said, got a strong squad, and I just think they'll get the win because they've not won for like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're due a win.
On to Mansfield versus Burton Albion, local derby. I'm going to go Mansfield 2-1. I think Mansfield are a good team. I think they've got a really good manager in Nigel Clough. I would take him off them tomorrow. I think he's a great manager. And he's punching above the weight for what their budget is for the league. They should be down the bottom, and they never seem to be sort of ever really in threat of relegation. He's took them up from League Two as well. So, yeah, I think Clough's done well there, and I think they'll win this game 2-1, sorry.
Yeah, and like you said, brilliant manager Nigel Clough, and he's been there a long time, and arguably, Mansfield done really well to keep hold of him because, you know, when he was in the Championship, he did a decent job at Derby. They kept improving year on year. I do get why Derby got rid of him in the end because they almost weren't progressing quickly enough. I think he was there like 5 years. And I don't even think he got in the playoffs. Even though he did progress, like they moved up 1 or 2 positions each year, I think. I think Mansfield have done well to keep hold of him. And look, when Mansfield are in trouble and they start getting dragged to that bottom 4, Clough just goes back to basics and starts grinding results out 1-0, 0-0. And that's what he's done, really. The last 5 games, he's drawn 3 and won 2. And that including a 1-0 win against Reading, a 0-0 against Rotherham, so 0 goals conceded in those 2 games. And that's exactly what I mean in terms of grinding results out. They've only played 37 games as well, Mansfield, the lowest amount. Burton...
didn't they? They had a good run.
Yes, yeah. Burton, I still think they're in danger. I think so. You've got Mansfield in 17th on 49 points, Burton 18th on 46. The 3-point gap there is massive for me because I think Mansfield are safe, especially with that extra games as well. And I think Burton are they're still in it. And now it's funny because Burton are still in it, right? Even though 46 points at this stage is actually quite high, and it's not concerning me about Rotherham. Like, I actually think you are going to need 52, 53 points to stay up. I really do, because Burton, Wigan, Blackpool, Exeter, they're on 46 down to 43 points. And I think 2 of them or 3 of them will get a couple of wins, and that takes them on to 52. So that's my concern for Rotherham. But it does mean that Burton is still in it. So you've still got, obviously, Port Vale and Northampton. I think they've gone. Rotherham have to win the next 2 games or they're gone as well, I'd say. We just need to hope that Burton. I mean, we're going to draw tonight. We need to let Burton do lose this game, which it looks like they will do. And that's what I think they will do. 2-0 Mansfield.
On to Northampton. You said that they're down, but they're only a point behind Rotherham.
I know. Well, it's funny because I was looking at the league table and I thought, Joe, what? I've got to say Northampton are down because they are. And then I looked that we were 1 point above them. But to be fair, we've got a game to play. And also, their form is like a lot worse than ours in like last 6 or 7. Like I think they've lost something like 7 out of 8 games and drawn the other. Whereas at least we've won 1 or 2 in that 8 game. So, yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
And we've got a new manager. We've got a new manager as well.
Yeah. I think this is the game that we can go safe. I've gone 2-0. I can't see anything that Northampton are going to do anything in this game.
I mean, the only hope is that Northampton have got a new manager, haven't they? And, you know, I know he's been there a week or 2, but if he can somehow just get a 0-0 draw, you know, if he can sort of get a 0-0 draw, then that'd be great because that would mean that Wigan have played 2 relatively easy games over the Easter period and only picked up 2 points. That'd be brilliant. Now, if I just look at Wigan's fixtures, they've still got easy. Wigan have got easy fixtures. Northampton's easy. You can see him beating Mansfield. You can see him beating Rotherham. You can see him beating Port Vale. They're not.
Shut up, Leslie. They're not beating Rotherham.
They're not beating Rotherham, but they're not going down. They're not going down, I'm afraid. So, yeah, this game, I agree with you. Can't see Northampton playing trees up. Just need to hope they get a draw. But, yeah, I'm going 1-0 Wigan.
Next up, Peterborough, Cardiff. I've gone 2-0. Easy win for Cardiff. Obviously, they're chasing the title. I think Lincoln will win the title, though. But Cardiff will still want to win this game. And I think Peterborough are on the beach. They've got 50 points, so this could still get dragged in, but I don't think they will. But, yeah, Cardiff easy win here. 2-0.
Yeah, similar. I mean, I've only gone 1-0. I've only gone 1-0 because Cardiff have slipped up recently and they've struggled to break teams down. Like, you know, they drew Blackpool 0-0. They lost at home to Wycombe 2-0. All of a sudden they stopped scoring goals. So I just think that they'll return to basics and they'll just get like the 1-0 win, which is what they need to maintain that second spot. And I think they will do.
Yeah, a shock of the day from both of us, really. I was surprised when you put that Lincoln would lose this game, but I think Lincoln, I think they are promoted, and I know they're going for the title, but I just think they'll slip up here. Reading are in good vein of form. They need a win to secure to get in, keeping them playoffs. Because very tight at them playoffs. I think Reading have just got more to play for. I know that sounds daft because they've got the title to play for, but I think Lincoln think that they've won that title already, which they haven't. But I just think they'll slip up here at Reading.
Yeah, I actually agree. Like, the reason I've gone for the win is because it's a sort of game where a lot of people would expect Lincoln to win because their form would suggest that, the league stable would suggest that as well. But Reading, since the new manager, have been excellent, and I can just see it now. A ground that is normally empty might be a bit fuller than normal because Lincoln will travel well and it is a big ground. And I can just see like the fans are on side with the manager, and between the fans' atmosphere and the manager, I just think they'll go and get a win against Lincoln. You know, Lincoln aren't going to win every game between that and the season, and this is one of the games that I think they won't win, and that's why I've gone 2-0 to Reading.
Next up, Stevenage versus Blackpool. And obviously Stevenage's form is win, lose, win, lose, win. And then they play Rotherham. So hopefully that's the loss. And then they'll go back to winning ways against Blackpool. And that'll really help us as well. So I'm going to go, I think Stevenage, they need to win and keep winning to get in the playoffs. I think at home they are really good as well. They're not as good away, I don't think. and I think that they'll beat Blackpool. I've gone 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Blackpool have had a couple of good results recently, and again, it's like a typical of a team who have been struggling and they've gone back to basics. And like I've always said, you should start when a new manager goes in, or when you're on a losing run. Always start from the back and get the defence set up, and that's what they did. They got a 0-0 draw at Cardiff because the defence were excellent, and then against I'm not sure where who did they beat at home? Blackpool. They scored it last minute with Exeter. Burton. And against Burton, it was heading for 0-0, and they managed to get that 1-0 with a little bit of quality. And I think that's what Blackpool will try and do going forward. But that's why I think Stevenage will win, because Stevenage, I think, even though our colleague was saying that they mix up their play, I don't think they do. I think they're quite direct and physical, and I just think that they'll almost batter Blackpool in terms of physicality. But Blackpool will defend well, but Stevenage will get that one goal and win the game, and that's why I've gone 1-0.
The next up, Wycombe versus Bradford City, and I've gone for a Wycombe victory. I mean, Wycombe still harbour hopes of playoffs, currently in 8th. They've played a game more than everybody else, so it's a must-win game for them. I think Bradford are in a false position. I don't think they're good enough to be at the playoffs. I think next season they will struggle. I think they'll be the bottom half of the table. I think they've had a good season this season, something to be proud of after getting promoted. But I think they've started to get found out. And I think at home, with the crowd behind them, they tend to do okay. But I think they'll get bullied at Wycombe, and Wycombe are very, very hard to score against. And I'm going to go 1-0.
Fully agree. I think Bradford. I think they've got a decent side, but I think the reason they're up there is just because the league is so poor. If this had been the league 2 or 3 years ago, I think you'd find that Bradford would be mid-table, if not close to the bottom. To be honest, and Wycombe are up and coming, and I just think they're going to get the win. Bradford, I still expect to run out of steam. I know I said earlier about I think they'll get playoffs, but if anyone is to drop out, I do think it will be Bradford out of those kind of 4 that are in there. Bradford have got Northampton tomorrow, as in Good Friday. So when this video goes out, they'll have played Northampton, and that is a must-win game for them. If they don't win that, then they are struggling and they will drop out. So Wycombe 1, Bradford 0.
And then finally, the Tuesday game, Port Vale versus Rotherham. So for me, Port Vale are down. There's no way that they can stay up. And I think they've got, obviously, is it the quarterfinals of the FA Cup they're in? Is it the FA Cup or the Cardiff?
FA Cup, yeah.
Yeah, so I think they'll be fully focused on that, and they'll be shattered by the Tuesday, and we'll steamroller them 3-1. I think I mean, if you can't beat such a poor Port Vale team that have been bottom nearly all season, then you deserve to be relegated. So if we do go there and lose, we deserve to go down. There's no moaning, there's nothing. It's just pack his bags and leave. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think we'll go there and we'll win 3-1.
And that FA Cup game they've got against, I'm not sure who is it against Arsenal? Chelsea, is it Chelsea? But whoever they've got a big game, and they, I'd almost say this is the perfect time for Rotherham to play Port Vale, because Port Vale are probably going to lose the FA Cup game, but they will put a lot into it because, they want to cause upset. And I just think, the come down of a game that you've been excited for a few weeks, that come down will mentally, that'll mentally kind of affect you. And I think it will mentally affect their players. And therefore, Rotherham should, like you said, Lee, steamroll him. The reason I've got only 1-0 and not like more is just because, obviously, Rotherham is still not in a spot where they're showing confidence. We still don't know what Lee Clark's going to do. Is he going to change formation? Is he going to get the players fighting? We actually don't know. We hope he is, but we don't know. So, yeah, this is the perfect time to play Port Vale. And if Rotherham can get 6 points from these 2 games, then it's game on for Rotherham.
Agreed. So we'll know much more after this Easter break where people are going to be, especially Rotherham. And obviously the playoff, it's a big weekend of football for your football team. Do you agree with me and Bez on your team's results? Do you think we're talking pony? And Doncaster fans, I've predicted you to win, so you're going to be quiet this week. Sick of the moaning, man. I predict you to win. You should be at Exeter, let's be honest. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take care, guys.
Night.